6 political article that talks about a little baby sleeping in a stroller outside of the Federal Reserve and a woman on a bullhorn screaming about foreclosures. That woman was me, and that was my baby in the stroller with the ACORN t-shirt on. That's the type of stuff that I did. I was very radical liberal, very angry liberal, the type of person that felt like, we were entitled to do something, that we were entitled to have things. That's the type of things that I did with ACORN. When I first came forward to expose them, I didn't want any type of attention. I took down all my pictures off Facebook and LinkedIn, and I shunned media interviews. I tried to do it anonymously through working with the New York Times, and that didn't work. So I finally decided I had to step forward. And I did step forward, and I started writing a blog and Twittering and just getting it out there. Because what ACORN is doing is that they're messing with the electoral system of our country. They're rigging elections and working towards what they call a permanent progressive majority. And that was something that terrified me, even as a liberal, because I knew that if my team was winning, that they were cheating, then they weren't actually winning. So I decided to get out there and get the story out. And some of the first people to embrace me were the Tea Party members. Because this was this was late 2008, early 2009, just when everyone was starting to get together and form the groups. Tea Party Patriots, Smart Girl Politics was starting to get really big and popular. And they were the ones that guided me and talked to me and encouraged me when the story seemed like it wasn't going anywhere and people weren't paying attention to what ACORN was doing. So it seemed like a natural progression that I am where I am today, working with the same groups and the same people that supported me throughout the whole time. When ACORN sued me for $5 million, those same people were right there giving to my legal defense fund. When the case was dismissed, they were still right there supporting me. So what I'm doing now with American Majority is trying to take back our communities. We have to realize that ACORN has made community organizing something bad, something that is looked upon with suspicion. But we all are community organizers. We're community organizers for freedom. We're out there trying to take our country back step by step, precinct by precinct. We're working with different organizations. We're partnering. It doesn't matter if you're the Patriots or the Express. We're all working towards one common goal. And that's what I love about my new position with American Majority is because now I'm out there training and talking to people about some of the same tactics ACORN doesn't want you to know about. When they go out there and they do a ballot initiative for minimum wage, and they get 70% of Florida voters. That's 70% of Democrats that have turned out for that election. When they're pushing opposition to Proposition 8 or whatever in California, they're turning out voters for Democrats. They use ballot initiatives, they use provisional ballots, absentee ballots, anything that they can to sway elections. By knowing their tactics and what to look for, we become better prepared citizens. They cannot operate under scrutiny. As Michelle Malkin always says, sunlight is the best disinfectant. If we're out there and we're shining the light on what they're doing, we're not going to have elections that are quote-unquote landslide, but then later on we find out that felons were voting, as in Minnesota, or we find out that there were people that were not citizens and they were dead, and they're on the voter rolls. These are the things that they don't want us to pay attention to. So in my training session today, I'll talk about these things. I'll talk about the laws like Help America Vote Act and the National Voter Registration Act and how they use these laws against us. I'll talk about how they sue the secretaries of states across the country in order to prevent voter IDs from happening in different states. I'll also talk about some of the very tactics that ACORN doesn't want you to know about. Their community organizing model, these are things that I've learned and read and spent 3 years studying, and that's what I bring to the right now. The tools to fight back, tools to become community organizers for freedom, and to take back our neighborhoods and our states, our local government, our city council, our school boards. They've all been infiltrated by people that are not there to protect our interests, or even in some cases, to help our kids go to school. They want uneducated kids. They want uninterested people. They want people that don't care about what's going on because it makes it easier to implement this radical change. I thank you guys so much for allowing me to have the opportunity to be here today, and I hope you'll stop by the American Majority training session. I think it's at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we'll just go ahead and we'll talk about some of these things. We'll give you some stuff to take home with you, and we also have follow-up where if you see ACORN in your community, you can email me, and we'll investigate and find out what's going on. Last week we had a training session. We had some people from Harris County, Texas. where they've had massive voter registration fraud and a fire that destroyed all of their voting machines. Next week, I'm in Harris County, Texas, investigating what's going on and making sure the public knows when local issues become national issues. That's what we're doing. So thank you.